Alrighty, Dreamers, thank you so much for calling in for our weekly team call, our Dreamers in Action team call. I'm super excited to have new rising stars and up-and-coming leaders to be leading our call this evening. Before we dive into that, I just want to go through a few announcements and just a couple of things. But first of all, it is Peach Mango, you guys, and in seasonal shakes, I mean, they really, really help grow your business, and it's a way to bring in a lot of new people, reactivate a lot of new people, and it builds momentum, till the next one is coming out. And so, as you know, chocolate mint has been a hit and pina colada has been a hit. Peach mango the first time was a hit and mocha crushed it, that it's worth spending in the time. Don't be those person that when you see the rank advancements or you see the growth, then you're seeing people with high cycle weeks and going, well, what the heck? Why isn't this happening in my business? Because it requires effort and it requires time. And to be texting people and saying, hey, like, I know you don't want to do a full 30-day, but you've had success in the past. Like, what about just getting a great, delicious shake for the summer, reaching out to people and saying, hey, I know you've been reluctant to do a full 30-day, but what about just trying our seasonal shake? It's amazing. And Jen Fighter gave great ideas. If people don't want to have to do shipping and membership and all that stuff, if they just want to try the flavor, get the order and run it through someone else in your account, build consultants back to consultants, or do what you have to do to really drive the line. But this is a great week to be focusing on rank advancements, on reactivations, on the 5-cycle bonus, and I just really want to pour that into. And if you have questions, reach out to some of your leaders, Kisa, myself, Rachel, Laura, Jen. We will map this out for you. We will show you exactly what we've had to do. But when Mocha came out, over a month ago, so Melanie went 2-star and Laura went 4-star and Jen went 3-star, Jen and Adam went 3-star. And you guys, it's a great week to go for that. So it's only Tuesday. I mean, set your goal. Like, who do you want to be active as consultant again? If you're manager, going to director. If you're, manager paid as consultant, getting back to manager. If you've never hit 5-cycle, if you've never hit 1-star, I mean, these are the weeks to really run. And corporate is doing this because they want rank advancements. They want to see momentum and growth. So however we can help you, but make that your focus, you guys. Also, I've been doing some pop-in login learns, different topics, different days of the week, different times, really just because we have new people and I want them to learn the foundations. So I don't expect you guys to get on those by all means, but just tag your team, hop on if you can. I think leaders go first and we're always growing in order to inspire other people, and then send that video out to people. If it's something that someone in your team could benefit from, don't just tag them. Like, grab the link, text it, say, I really want you to listen to this and why, let them see the value. So that's all I've got for you guys, except for Celebration is just a few weeks away and it is not too late to go. Events change lives. And I know most of you here are going. But if you've got someone on your heart or you've got someone on the team that you really think should go, encourage them. I worked for June Boom not to get my room paid for. I already had a room, but knowing I was going to have a room available to invite other people to. I always buy extra tickets. You guys, I met a rock star today. Absolute freaking rock star. And I told her, I literally said, all you have to do is get your flight. I've got a room in a hotel room. I've got a ticket for you. And she goes, do you give that to everybody? And I said, no, I give it to those that deserve this and are willing to put in the work, But like, if you have extra space in your room, get the cot, put people on the sleeping bags, like on the floor, whatever you have to do, get people to Celebration. Southwest has cheap flights, Frontier has cheap flights. All you have to do is get them in that door and then watch their life change and watch your business grow. So I'm super excited to introduce Erik and Weslie as our co-hosts and our speakers at the team call tonight. I've learned more about them, I think, in like the last week than I have in the last year. They joined our team at Celebration last year, kind of kicking and screaming. And over the last 11 and a half months, we've seen personal development. We've seen them just shine on this team. We've seen them, be able to cast this vision for other people, really, really add culture and support to this team. I think Weslie brings such a fun factor, and she's a dreamer. She's a visionary. She's the epitome of this team. And, Erik is our culture. He's our love and support. And whenever I go back to answer a question on our page, Erik's already done it with data, with support, with resources, and they are a powerhouse couple. So watch out, because they are crystal directors. They will be, executives, and they're just flying through the ranks of Isogenics and growing together and growing on this team. So I'm going to turn the call over to you guys and mute. Thank you for being here tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Lauren, for that amazing introduction.
Yeah, God, you flatter us.
I feel so good now that I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm nervous and excited all at the same time. But we're just going to jump right into it then to make it a little easier on the nerves. So First off, I'd like to introduce Rachel Meyer, who's been a great coach to us, and she's going to talk about the product spotlight this week. So go ahead, Rachel.
Forgot to unmute myself. Okay, hi everyone. So I wish I actually didn't have my hat on because maybe I could show you. The product spotlight for tonight is the Rejuvenity Eye Cream. And I am one of those people, I don't know, especially women, but I think guys get it too, have those bags underneath your eyes that it just looks like your makeup's always running, or it looks like you got a hit in the eyes, you know, you've got a black and blue eye. And I swear to God, since I started using the eye cream, that went away. Like the puffiness, your eyes look brighter. It's paraben free. I don't know, they've got some sort of complex. You can go read about it. No one cares how and why it works. As long as you look younger and the eyes look better, then use it, right? So highly recommend it.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Rachel. There's one thing a lot of people may not know about the Rejuvenity line, and that's that there's sample packs as well. If you don't want to commit to a single product or the entire kit, for 20 bucks you can get a sample pack that actually includes a lot of the products and a good portion size for them too, and we use them for traveling as well. Just a little tidbit there. The next person I'd like to introduce is Aaron Bayer. This is someone that's been coached recently by Rachel quite a bit, and he's going to tell us about his product story. So go ahead, Aaron. You have to unmute yourself first, though.
Am I visible now? Sorry, technology and I. Okay, great. A few months ago, I had a traumatic experience that activated my hyperthyroidism, and I had a couple of thyroid storms. I was put in the hospital for 18 days. I gained 14 pounds because I had to eat the food that they made me eat. Since I've been out, I've had to have surgery. I don't know if you can see, I got a scar for my thyroid. And in the recovery time, I decided I would take the plunge and do the performance line because it felt like going back to the gym. It had been a year. I regressed a year. Within 4 weeks, I was lifting heavier than I have in years, and I was having the best workouts of my life. So the performance line, I'm always a skeptic of performance line, but it works. It really does. So that's it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Aaron. We hear all the time about success stories with Isagenix when it comes to weight loss, and we tend to forget how well it does for us in the gym. You know, all that extra energy, you know, the Nox and the other parts of the performance pack that really just give you that boost of clean energy. So I'm glad it's working out for you. So we're going to dive into this tonight. Yes, we got one more thing we're going to talk about first, though. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look at me. I'm like, look at notes. Okay, go. All right, first we're going to talk about Laura Penny Laurie. She's got a great business story. Recently just hit 4-star and got a call from Kathy Coover personally to celebrate her success. And
incredible.
Which I think is really exciting. So I want to hear a little bit about her story. So go ahead, Laura.
Thank you, Weslie and Erik. Can you all hear me okay? I have a headset on. Okay, cool. So thanks for letting me share my story with you all. I have been with Isagenix for a little over 3 years. I am a wife and I'm a mom of 2. And a little over 3.5 years ago, I was a corporate executive working 50 hours or more a week with a commute that on a good day was about 1 hour and 15 to 1 hour and 20 minutes. And I was incredibly stressed out, burnt out, overworked, and definitely felt significantly underpaid. It was taking a terrible toll on my health. I didn't feel good despite eating really well and working out. And my recruiter, who actually worked for me, introduced me to Isagenix. I had no idea what the company was. All I know is I put the products in my body. I had an amazing transformation, and I naturally shared Isagenix with my 2 best friends, my sisters, my husband, and I got an email from Isagenix that said I had been paid, and I immediately called Lauren Sims, who was the person who had handled my enrollment and enrolled all of these people for me, and said there's been a terrible mistake. I got this email from Isagenix that I got a bunch of money and I don't know what they're talking about. So I never shared with the intention of getting my products paid for or earning any extra income. I did it because I had an amazing experience and wanted to help the people I love the most. So after I got that email, I said to Lauren, this is like for real. I really just got all this money. How did this just happen? And she sent me the comp plan. and we had a little chit chat, and I thought, well, this is some pretty nice supplemental income, never thinking I would do this as a career. And Lauren called me one day and said, you're going to go to Celebration. And I said, what's that? And she said, you need to be there. And I thought, well, why would I go to Celebration? You know, what does this have to do with me? And I trusted her. I truly did. And after some chat with my husband, decided to burn some vacation days and buy some really expensive plane tickets from the East Coast to the West Coast, because it was in San Diego. And I will tell you that that event changed everything for me. I walked in unsure and not really knowing why I was there, to walking out. I was 10 foot tall. I was bulletproof. My belief in what I was getting involved in was unbelievable. I came home and I said to my husband, by the end of 2014, I will replace my corporate America income and I will do this full time. And he looked at me and said, really? And I said, yes. And I got to work. I made a lot of mistakes and fumbled a lot, but the beauty of what we do is we fall forward. We get paid and we fall forward. So I just kept going. And my last day in corporate America was December 31st of 2014. And I just took on the motto that I was going to learn and grow myself, and I was never, ever, ever going to quit no matter what. And I'd make mistakes and I'd stand back up and I'd keep going, and I've learned from incredible, incredible people who went first. And that's still my motto today. There's no quit, there's no off switch. And I just surround myself with people who are getting it done and who are incredibly successful, and I follow their lead. So that's how I'm where I am. I didn't do anything special. I just decided that I was not going to quit. And, you know, failing forward in this and continuing to get paid through mistakes is like a complete blessing. You know, if you work in a job and you make mistakes, you get fired. Here, if you make some mistakes, you just keep going and you keep getting paid. So that is really my story and how I got to where I am. And if any one of you is being talked to about showing up at an event, I promise you it will change everything. So if you're not sure, trust the person who's suggesting it and get there. That would be my very best suggestion. So Erik and Weslie, thank you for letting me share my story. And let's get on with your great training. I can't wait to hear what y'all have to share with us tonight.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I think a lot of people can relate to that, you know, being stuck in corporate America or the 40-40-40 and not really sure. And it's exciting when you get paid for something that you're not realizing you're doing it for money. You are doing it for different reasons, and it shows like a true passion for it as opposed to just doing it for a paycheck. And I think that's why, you know, Weslie and I are really into this and really enjoying this, because it's not just for money. That's just a bonus. It's a bonus to have no cap to your income. But the best part is when somebody sends you that text message and is like, what is in this stuff? I feel so good. And how do I share it with everybody else? So thank you. And that's going to be our big talk tonight. The biggest thing tonight really is going to be coaching and the importance of coaching and what makes us different from other MLMs and the one team mentality and why somebody should get it through you as opposed to buying it through Amazon or eBay or somewhere else. It's because they're going to be missing out on the whole coaching aspect of this. And there's really three things that make a good coach. And that's the support, the motivation, and the education. These things are all important to creating a good employee or creating a good associate or a good business builder. And any of these things that we're going to teach you are 100% duplicable. These are things that you can learn, things that you can pass on, things that you can share with everybody else. And that's what's so great about this company and direct sales in general, that you can learn as much as you want or as little as you want. And the more you learn, the more you'll grow and the more money you'll make. So that's why we're happy you're all here, because this is the first part of it. All right, so we're going to go straight into support. And this starts from day one. This is right before you're enrolling somebody, when you're enrolling somebody, and after you enroll somebody. The support in that first period is the most critical time that you build that trust. You build that rapport with the person. There's a lot of ways to do this, and I think one call in general, there's a Tracy O'Malley call that it talks about the first 14 days and create a consultant, but it's really about being a good coach. You have to create that expectation before they enroll, what to expect. And this is talking about their day 1 through 4, their day 5, their day 10, and their day 14. And more specifically, letting them know from day 1 they may feel like crap. You know, the first 4 days they may feel the results of detoxification. And you know what I mean? Like, I had headaches at the very beginning for my first week, actually, and I wanted to quit. And it was a result of Weslie, my accountability partner and my coach, helping me through and push through that. And without my coach, I probably would have just sent the products back and quit and never even tried it again.
Right.
Even
I assure them that what they're going through is normal, that pretty much everyone goes through the same thing when they're going through detox. And that's a huge reason that people start returning, is they're not made aware of it first. So they feel like they're failing or it's not working for them, and they'll just return it. And then they feel shameful that they returned it and it didn't work, because you put all this work into them and getting it for them and talking into that, you know. So when they return it, a lot of times they'll just shut down without even telling you. So making sure that they're prepared and that they understand that this is totally normal and completely common for them to feel this way beforehand is a huge way to keep them going and keep them feeling supported.
That's so true. And it's really important that they know this before it happens, so that when it does happen, they saw it coming. So Tracy O'Malley really goes over all this, and it's just a 10-minute podcast. I'll link it at the end of the
in the page.
We'll link it at the end in the page. And anything that I really talk about, I'll put a link at the very end so that you can get direct references to everything I'm talking about. But, you know, it's that day 1 through 4, I feel not feeling so great. Talking to them on day 5, 6, or 7, where they wake up, they're starting to light up. They feel like a Christmas tree. Day 10, they start running out of their first shake, and they're starting to freak out about how they might not have the products forever and they're not sure what they should do, all the way up to day 14. And you're sticking with them through all of this and letting them know that this is what's going to happen, and that you're going to stick with them through all of these things, so that when it does happen, they're like, oh, light bulb. She said this was going to happen. He said this was going to happen. It did. And here's what we're going to do about it.
And also by doing this, it also instills trust in them, that they trust you because what you said actually did happen, and they feel more comfortable and more confident in your coaching.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. We'll link that call at the end. I don't want to spend too much time on it because there is coaching for that. There's a lot of videos like Jen Feichter did on June 26th about launching your new customers. And it's super important that when you're launching them, that you have a little checklist, that you keep track of these things. Within the Dreamers in Action page, you can actually find a good enrollment form that Jen Feichter's already made. And this checklist, I think, is critical or important. I don't know if it's showing up backwards or not, but it's basically showing all the steps that you should do as a coach so that you can keep coaching them along the way. And the first one is, in adding them to Facebook groups, sending them the welcome email, getting them signed up for IsaBodies, all of this. This is all super important when you're first launching your customer.
Make sure they're prepared for their first cleanse, because that's another thing a lot of people struggle with.
Yes. So one way that you can do all of this and keep it so it's not so time consuming to you, there's tools like we talked about, the Dreamers in Action page, so that you have all the forms. A lot of people have already gone before you and made these forms, so you can pass these on. But IsaTools also offers a great section for this in their email drip system. And they have drip systems for performance systems, for energy packs, for weight loss, and it has all the emails set up to send it on day 1, day 4, day 7, and it can do it automatically too. So you're not constantly focusing on every single person that you enroll, but still being a good coach while you do it. One of the other big things about support and being a good coach when you're supporting your people is casting a vision from within their goals. Whether their goals be weight loss or trying to fit into a specific pair of pants, or being on stage at Celebration. Everyone's goals and why they get started in Isagenix are different, and it's important that you find out what those goals are so that you can support them in reaching those goals, but also so you can celebrate them when they get to those goals and then work on new goals. So one of the things you do to make that happen is that you have to listen. You have to ask the questions, and you have to get deep. You can't just ask, why do you want to do this? And then be satisfied when they ask or answer with, I want to lose weight, or I just want more energy, or I want to sleep better. You have to ask why.
Yeah, dig into that reason as much as you can and find out their motivation, find out like specific goals. How much weight do you want to lose? You know, do you have an event coming up that you want to lose this weight for? Do we have a certain amount of time? And you can kind of help, you know, make sure that's successful.
Exactly. And that's a good point too, because you can also cast a vision that way. If you can get them talking about, well, I want to lose 10 pounds. Well, why do you want to lose 10 pounds? Well, I bought this pair of pants that's been sitting in my closet for 6 months and I just haven't been able to fit in them. No matter what I've done, I just can't get in those pants. Well, why do you want to fit in those pants? Well, I had that specific pair planned out because I was going to, you know, surprise my husband on our anniversary and look really good, and it would just make me feel super confident to be in that pair of pants. So now you've gotten in super deep beyond I want to lose 10 pounds. And you can also reinforce this why whenever there's pitfalls or whenever they're having successes. If you write this down and you know exactly why they started, then you can always come back to it later.
And it also makes them feel like they're just, you know, they're not just another number. They're not just another enrollment. When you can get in touch with them and say, how close are you to fitting in those jeans, instead of, have you lost weight? You know, and give them more of like an exciting goal to look forward to, and just instead of just like, oh, yeah,
exactly,
I want to lose weight. That's it. Yeah.
And you can extrapolate that to anything. You want to be on the stage at Celebration? Well, how do we do that? Do you want to be on the 100-pound weight loss stage, or do you want to be on the stage to meet the Cougars? Or do you want to be the most successful START member, you know, that just hit Crystal Exec before you're 36 and you get to meet Erik Hoover and be celebrated among everyone else? Everyone's goals are going to be different. And going along with that and support and listening, I want to talk a little bit about recognition and celebrating the positives and always focusing on the positives. So one of the big ways that you can celebrate people is to actually tell them, you know, celebrate them. That's the easiest way. But some of the other ways you can do it as well, don't forget that when you enroll these people and you get their shipping address, you also have their shipping address to send cards to send celebration cards to say, welcome to the team. I'm really glad to have you on our team. Weslie's great about that. She's got a stack of cards that she sends to every person that we enroll. When they hit a marker, whether that be their consultant or they hit a weight loss goal or something, you're celebrating them on Facebook. And everyone secretly likes recognition. Some people like it more than others, obviously, but when you're celebrating somebody's success and you're doing it, they don't have to worry about it. They don't have to worry about posting a transformation picture themselves or worrying about what to do when 100 people are noticing that they just started their weight loss goals. You've already done it. You don't have to ask permission for celebrating somebody. Well, yes, you should still, actually, shouldn't you? Yeah, you should still ask for permission. Say you're talking to somebody and they're like, I lost 10 pounds in the last 5 weeks. Great. Can I celebrate you? Definitely always ask. You don't want to throw somebody out of their comfort zone.
And also by celebrating people, it's enforcing that duplicability. Like when they start enrolling their people and their people start seeing success, they've already been through it. They've been celebrated. So they remember, okay, I know what it felt like to be celebrated, and it motivated me to get my butt back in the gym or whatever it was, and that they can turn around and do that for their people as well.
Yes, definitely big. Duplication and duplicability is big, because you want to make sure that whatever you're teaching somebody, you're showing them how you did it, which is why at the end I'm definitely going to link everything that I use with the ISOTools app. Like I talked about earlier, I see in the chat, that's where the drip systems are. There's a tool called the ISOTools. You can use it on your phone or the computer. There's a ton of different resources.
And it's like $15 a month to use it, but we use it every single day, and it's so worth it. Definitely
a different talk. We could talk about ISOTools for an hour pretty easily. Another thing with celebration, and when you're talking about their successes, this can help lead into helping them build their 30-second story. One of the biggest things in Isogenics is your 30-second story. You heard it from Laura Penny-Laurie, you heard it from Aaron. These are the lifeblood of how Isogenics is. When you're going to introduce someone to Isogenics, you tell them your story. You tell them what it did for you. You tell them, you know, how it helped you and how you feel what would happen if you didn't have it. And there's a 30-second story page paper where you can fill in the blanks. Super easy. Fill in the blanks, and then you just practice your story and you're good to go. But one way that you can do it as a coach is that you can ask those questions when you're talking to them.
So before you enroll them, how are you feeling now? What are your goals? You know, what do you want to change? And that right there becomes the before Isagenix I, right? And then as the, here, go ahead.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. So you pretty much already know their befores, so you can ask those questions tied straight into the 30-second story. If you're like us and you keep track of everything, when we're enrolling somebody and we have their why, we write it down. So we actually have a filing cabinet with each of our personally enrolled, so we know pretty much everything about them. We know what their goals are, we know what they want to do, and all we got to do is pull the file out whenever we want to have a serious conversation about them. So we pull that out, we look at their before and how they felt before Isagenix. They're like, well, I wanted to lose weight, I'm tired all the time. So you ask them, so are you tired all the time? No, I sleep great. Perfect. So write it down. You've got another part of the 30-second story. And basically by asking these questions, you help them create a 30-second story. You can even write it for them if you'd like, and then show them what you've made and say, look, you now have your 30-second story. You can pretty much tell anyone about Isagenix. And this is where it goes back into the Tracy O'Malley call. Instead of saying that you're talking about sales or that you're talking about business, these are turn off words for a lot of people because they're immediately they're gonna back off. They're gonna be like, oh, whoa, I don't want to be part of network marketing. I never got in this for sales.
They're going to start thinking of their fears when it comes to this industry. Like,
yes.
Oh, I don't want to cold call people. I don't want to go door knocking or, you know, push my friends or family past their comfort zone or be obnoxious and annoying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they don't really understand because they can't see what you see. They don't know the one team mentality or that we're doing this from love. And that's really the best way to do this. They just see everything or fear everything that they've heard before about network marketing and everything else. So once you've built that 30-second story, Tracy O'Malley talks about telling people you love, because you feel so good at that moment when you approach them with this on their day 14 or after they have that light up moment. You approach it with love and say, who do you love?
Who you would want to feel the same way that you're feeling now.
Exactly. People are going to start noticing what's going on with you, and without you even trying, they're going to notice. So who do you love that you want to share this with? Starting with your spouse or with your significant other, going into your parents or your sister or your brother. Don't they want to feel this way too? Don't they want to feel the way that you feel? And any objections they may have had, they can answer them for you. They're already an objection overcoming machine and they don't even know it, because once they're talking to somebody they love, they'll just talk to them with love. They'll be like, oh, I thought they'll go straight into feel, felt, found without even thinking about it. Oh, I felt the same way. I thought it was kind of expensive too, but once I got started, I saved so much money. I lost all this weight. And that's why I'm telling you about it, because it's amazing. And that can be dangerous too. You can definitely be ignorance on fire. And they're going to want to spread this to everyone and tell a million people because they feel so great. And this is kind of where, as a coach, you need to bring it in a little bit.
Right. Don't let them go out and fire hose everybody and just.
This is where three-way calls and messages are gold. When somebody is first starting, there's one big thing that you learn at a job that you don't really get taught necessarily in Isagenix, because you don't really see it as employment, or I don't know where I'm going with that. Let's just go with what I was going to say. So with the three-way calls, you want to be trained on this. And the way that you get training is from your coach. And when you're a newbie, you may know a lot, or you may know a little about a lot, but you don't know a lot about a little. So to basically sum that up, you may know a lot about Isagenix, but when someone asks you, well, what's in the Ionic Supreme? Why does it make you feel that way? You're like, I don't know, but I feel good. So this is where the three-way call and the coach comes in handy, is once they start sending out those messages or talking to their family members, or people are starting to ask them about Isagenix, you need to lead it into a three-way message, and you need to teach them to do this. And how you do that is you teach them to say, I know how it makes me feel, but I am by far no expert about this. Let me connect you with my coach who got me started. Or any verbiage along those lines, anything you think that would work in that you saying, I'm not the expert, I feel great, but I want to make sure that you get all the right answers. I want to make sure that we help you in the best way we possibly can. Let me connect you with my coach. Some people are more comfortable doing that in person. Some people are more comfortable over the phone. But I found a lot of people, especially millennials, are more comfortable just doing a Facebook message 3-way. That way they can kind of do it all over text. They can do it on their phone. And the best way to do that is to just create a group chat. And always make sure that when they open a 3-way chat, they're introducing you, and they're also introducing the person that is interested in Isagenix. So kind of the rules of 3-way calls, we can link to that later. There's ways to do that, but basically this gives you a chance to train. And this is the training that you're missing, like in a regular job or something like that, where, for me, example, working in the restaurant industry, you have a 5-day training system for the most part. The first 2 days you follow, where you follow your server and you learn from them. The second 2 days they follow you and make sure you don't make any huge mistakes. And then day 5, you're kind of on your own. And then if you have any questions, you ask them, and then they release you to the wild. So this is kind of where the 3-way message or call comes in handy, in that they're still learning. So a lot of the times they're going to introduce you to their prospect, and you're just going to take it away. And once you've overcome the objections, because you're the expert in overcoming the objections, the coach is then going to pass it off to the person that introduced it to them and seal the deal. And by doing this multiple times and learning how you overcome objections and learning how you talk to people, they are going to learn in the process and slowly become the expert themselves. And this is also where duplication comes in handy. 3-way calls are the easiest thing to repeat and duplicate, because if that's how they got started, then they already understand that that's how the system works. If that's not how they got started, this is what you need to teach them so that they understand that this is the lifeblood of our system. This is training, it's overcoming objections, but it's also a accountability. The third person validation. So having that third person there that is like, this works. This person you're talking to is not crazy. She's completely right, and here's why, et cetera, et cetera.
It also gives them an idea of which questions to ask too. Because I mean, that was a huge thing for me. When I first got started, of course, none of us are experts. Like, you always need that extra knowledge, someone to back you up. So something that I did with Rachel Nair is we would do a lot of 3-way calls where she would be the leader, and I would sit there and take notes while she was talking and put it together. I actually have it somewhere around here. But which question she asks and in what order, and if they say this, you feed into this. And I've actually used it not even just in 3-way calls as me being the leader and looking at it and knowing what to say, when to say it, and having confidence and not like blanking out because I'm nervous or I don't know what to say, but also in just one-on-one calls with people, knowing what to say, when to say it. And it's all because I learned from her, just from listening to someone else. So following her lead, having her there while I'm leading, so she's still there to coach me, and now I have that, and I feel confident enough to do it all on my own. Kind of like what he was saying with serving,
And this happens at every level too. People use the 3-way calls to learn at every level, because you can actually use the 3-way calls to create business builders as well. You're not only using this for prospects or using it to overcome objections. A good way to do a 3-way call or a 3-way message is to introduce them to your coaches, introduce them to other business builders, introduce them to other people on the team that they may get along with. This is a great way to just expand community within your team. Moving into the second part of coaching, this is motivation. A good coach motivates. We talked about this a little bit, and learning, and figuring out what motivates that person. The recognition posts, but one thing we didn't talk about is there's a lot of ways to recognize people. Am I repeating myself? I feel like I am.
Well, recognition, yeah.
I am. So we already talked about this a little bit, motivation and recognition. But one thing I didn't talk about is being genuine. Whenever you're posting anything, whether it be on your page, the private groups, or when you're sending to them, you need to be genuine and show your passion, because they can feel it and they can read it and they're going to feed off of it. And if you just say, good job, and then you move on to something else and you're not really listening to them, they're going to feel like you're not paying attention to them. and that you're not really treating them
or that it's
like a good person.
It's a blanket congratulations,
Yeah,
or a blanket good job, you know, just for doing it. Oh, good job, but what did they do well?
Copy paste or something that's
Right.
not personalized. So always make sure it's personal. You're really good about that.
Compliment their strengths. Always work on the strengths. And if there's anything that they feel that they can improve on, make it always constructive and a positive thing. Like, oh, you did really, really well with this. Next time to make it even better. You know, instead of going into a negative space where they feel like they failed just because they could improve. If you word it wrong, they're going to feel like they let you down and they're not going to want to do it anymore. So always fall into a positive space.
Positive and passion. Put time into it so that they know that you're being genuine as well. You know, if you can personalize it. So when I met this person, this is how they were, this is how they are now. I'm really proud of them. I'm excited to see where they'll go. If you could even include a picture of you two together, that'd be huge. But any good picture of them or picture on the post is important, because when people are scrolling through Facebook or anything else, they're drawn to pictures.
Yeah, if they just see words, people usually just skip right over that because, you know, we want to be entertained.
Yes.
So always choose a flattering picture, especially if you're celebrating someone. And it'll get a lot more attention, and they'll feel more celebrated if you do it that way too.
All right. So the last thing that I want to talk about for coaching is education. A good coach is always educating themselves and then passing on that education to their people, but not necessarily just teaching it to them. It's showing them where they found it and why they thought it was important and why you thought of them as a result of teaching them that. So I think one of the biggest thing is self-development. This business is network marketing. It's all about developing yourself and developing your own strengths. And as a coach, how can you be a better coach if you're developing yourself first? Because if you're always in your own fear or out of your comfort zone, then you're not going to sound genuine. You're not going to sound passionate when you're talking to people. So it's always important to work on yourself. And they say, and by they say, I mean the leaders in our business, we hear this in every call and in the events that we've been to. They say to spend an hour of your time on yourself every day, whether this is self-development, whether this is listening to a podcast to learn more about the product, or reading a book based solely on self-development, unrelated to isogenics. You know, always working on yourself. Healthy Mind and Body is a great way to do this. Completing the Healthy Mind and Body program actually gives you a full reimbursement. So the cost of the program is fully reimbursed through coupons, just like finishing the IsoBody challenge.
Don't they give you like an extra $40 as well?
I think it's like $5 or something like that. But you pay for the product up front, and then that is solely self-development. It's going to work on yourself every single day, and it's done for you. And it is amazing, and it works really, really well. So definitely look into that, Healthy Mind and Body. Another good one is GoPro by Erik if you want to study network marketing. That's the biggest book. Everyone will always talk about it in isogenics. Guy has earned over $13 million in network marketing alone over the last decade. And pretty much everything he says is gold.
And that's another awesome way to solidify the coach. So like, instead of just sending them like, oh, congratulations, or, you know, a celebratory post on Facebook, this is something that I witnessed firsthand, and it made me feel so special and so invested in, was when I would hit, you know, I hit consultant or I hit manager or director, our leaders would send us self-development books, or Tony Robbins books. And so when I first hit consultant, Rachel Mayer actually sent me GoPro. And I mean, I learned so much from that. I took away so much from that book. I mean, if you look at it, it's just the whole thing is basically highlighted. But instead of just giving me, oh, who's not muted? Who do we have?
Me.
Oh, Sherry. There we go. Thank you. Instead of, you know, just a celebration post or something that's, yeah, it's going to make me feel good for a little bit. It's not going to develop me. That post is just going to make me feel special for a second. And
it shows that you really care about where they're going, especially if they're doing something business related, like becoming a consultant or becoming a manager, giving them something that's going to help them grow. Right. And honestly, the GoPro by Erik is like $9 or $10. It's super cheap. So
yeah,
you could even
find it used for like $3, I'm sure.
I think we have 2 or 3 copies here. Another good one for self-development is The Carpenter by John Gordon. That one's all about being a good coach and growing your business, even against adversity. So definitely look into that one as well. Another good one for education and things we haven't talked about yet for self-development is podcasts. isagenicspodcast.com has so many great calls. Some are short, some are long. You can throw these on your iPod, throw them on a CD, and listen to them in your car when you're driving to work. This is a great way to self-develop while on the go. So you're not taking up too much of your own time. You're already going to be in the car anyway. You may as well be growing while you do it. If you haven't listened to it, Chris Harder, Overcoming Objections, is one of the best ones to listen to when you're first starting out and you're trying to grow. And it'll help you out a lot as well on those three-way calls, because a lot of it's going to come exactly from there. Tuesday calls, you're on them right now. So great. Everyone that's here or anyone that's going to listen later, this is a great way to self-develop, and it's free. A lot of these resources are free. And that's one of the best parts about Isogenics. And you need to coach your people on all of their free resources whenever they have a question.
Yep.
Answer your question and then tell them where you found it. You had such and such question. I searched on isogenicshealth.net. Here's where I found it. Here's the link. You can do it too. And this is one of those things that's very duplicable.
Yeah. So if you're on this call and if you have people that you've enrolled, try and get them on the call with you, And it's going to help. It's going to show them that you're investing in them, that you're thinking about them, that you want them to succeed, and they're going to learn a lot in the process as well.
So true.
Yeah.
One of the last things that we want to talk about in terms of education are events. You're going to feel this from everyone, from every point of view. It's going to be on the cleansers page. It's going to be on DIA. It's going to be in the calls. It's going to be on any important podcast you listen to. They're going to talk about getting to events and getting your people to events. And we can attest, because we were not actually Isogenics associates when we went to Celebration last year. We actually got dragged there.
We never even had a shake in our lives. We didn't really even know what the product or the program was. We just were told, this is amazing. I want you there. I don't care what it takes. Your butt's going to be in that seat next to me, and you're going to deal with it.
We got snuck in without tickets for a couple sessions. So we didn't get to see like the big events. We didn't get to see the 10,000 people in one room and all of the really, really honestly motivating good stuff. And still, the day after we got home, Weslie signed up.
And we were only there for like 3 hours too. It was that powerful, and it
I was still super skeptical about it. It just looked like a huge sales pitch to me for the first hour or so. Then it started to break me down a little bit. And then I was like, okay, so I'll let Weslie try it out and see how I feel about it. 2 weeks into her transformation, I'm like, I need it. And
Jealous.
Now I'm on it for a year. So the events are really what started it for us. We're going to Celebration this year. We have bought 2 extra tickets actually to give to our team, because we feel that strongly about it, and we feel that it'll grow them that much and grow their business and grow themselves and their confidence in Isogenics. And you really get to see the love that they pour into their associates. It's not just about shooting for their $1 billion sales goal this year, which I truly believe they're actually going to hit with everything they've been doing.
Yeah.
It's more so about what they put into their people. You'll see them recognize the 100-pound club, the 200-pound club, the 300-pound club, the Isobody Challenge. They're going to release all the new products, celebrate everyone that's new and start, and Crystal Executives, and the gala, which is dressed to the T's, and you get to go to an amazing dinner.
It's just amazing all around. I mean, if you go, there's no way you're going to leave there with any doubt in yourself or doubt in Isogenics.
And if you can't make it to Celebration, there's 4 big events throughout the year that, even though Celebration's the biggest, these other 3 are super important. One of them's University in Action. The other one is ISA University. And then the 4th one is New Year's Kickoff. So the 2 that are coming up after Celebration are going to be ICU and University in Action. One's in Chicago, and one's in Phoenix, but there's also one in Canada as well, in Toronto.
There's also one in London, I just learned.
Yeah.
ICU in London. So it's all over the place. And no one has any excuse. They can make it to...
There's webcams for them too. If you say you can't be there, you can also webcam, and you can look into seminars live, and you can learn live. It's not the same as feeling the energy as while you're there, but it's still pretty close. So definitely keep that in mind if you truly want to grow your business and you are serious about this, get as many associates as you can there, buy their tickets if you have to, if you know they're serious, and go together. You will grow from it, and you really will catch the vision, and you'll want to share it with everyone else as well.
Yeah, and if price is a big objection, which a lot of times when it comes to events, that's it. I mean, the cost of the ticket itself, the cost of the plane ticket, the cost of hotel, the cost of food, whatever, babysitters. If that's a big issue, doing the webcam, like he was saying, you can watch it live, and you're actually able to obtain that footage for 90 days. So I think it's only $99. It's only $100, and they still get a
and you can
barking dog.
and you can see it as an investment as well. It's a tax write-off. Don't forget that. You're working on your business and you're growing your business. Anything that you do for your business is a tax write-off. Our tickets are a tax write-off. Your trip there is a tax write-off because you're doing this for work. One of the biggest things too with events is there's smaller events as well. So you have those 4 big events, but you can go to isagenixevents.com and find ones that are local to you as well. Some that are free, some that are $20. There's super Saturdays that are like mini celebrations. There's also sorts of things you can do for your team to get involved. One little tidbit that I want to say is that the last day that you can buy tickets online for celebration is July 23rd. After that, if there is still availability, you have to get them in person at the event. That's also the last day you can transfer tickets. So that's about it. I mean, that's all I got. I feel a little long-winded, but I hope you learned a little something from everything that we talked about here.
And if anyone has any questions or comments or anything, feel free to ask. We're all here for you.
Yeah, is there anything anyone wanted to ask? We've got like a few more minutes here. We can definitely dive in. You can do it in chat, or we can talk about it. Whatever you think. Just go ahead and shout. All right, everyone's shy, so that's fine.
I'm not shy. I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm not shy. So your introduction to your very first event, you guys had not even ever tried the products. And I think that's so cool. How are you inviting your team to come? Because I'm sure you're not waiting until you get there to find some people to drag in the door, which I still think is really cool, by the way. But how are you guys presenting this to your teams and to your people to get them to the event? Like, how are you sharing it, if you don't mind telling us?
All right, so I think the biggest factor for us is that we live in Vegas. So that's a little bit easier for us because we have a room to stay in. A lot of people already live here that we're friends with. So for us, it's just showing them how to get a ticket and then going with them and getting the time off of work and showing them the importance of investing in themselves.
And of course, telling our story. You know, that's a huge part too. Especially if we have someone who's already enrolled, being like, I wasn't even into this before the event. You know, imagine how you'll feel already being involved in Isagenix and going to this and catching that fire, you know. Yeah,
exactly. Being surrounded by thousands and thousands of like-minded people that feel great because they've had their Ionic Supreme, they just cleansed. Can you imagine like the energy in that room? It's just, it's something you have to be there to understand. And that's kind of what it's just about sharing that vision so that they feel it too.
Mentioning that Tony Robbins is going to be there, people know him. People are excited about that. So just letting them know about, or, you know, if they're not really sure what he does, sending them a video of Tony Robbins, or there's even a really awesome celebration event video from
like a little trailer
year. Yeah, and I mean, every time I watch it, I get so pumped up. So
we've been sharing that video with our people and being like, so this is like 1% of what it feels like, and they watch the video and they're like, wow, that's really exciting. I'm like, and that's not even how exciting it really is.
Yeah.
And it's just having that passion so they can see it and feel it and know that you're being genuine, just like everything that we do. It's always being passionate about it. One little trick or tidbit too that you can teach your people, there's a Facebook page called Isagenix Events. It's a private group, but you can invite yourself to it. And if you're already an associate, a lot of people sell tickets there too. So I know that you can buy your tickets through your own account, but you can actually buy tickets from other people that can't make it at a discounted rate too. So if you're really feeling like the financial burden of it, there's a lot of people selling tickets for $100, $125, just so you know.
Yep.
So
any other questions?
All right, I guess we're going to conclude the call then. Lauren is still here and wants to close it out for us and give a little goodbye to everyone.
So thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening to us and taking notes. And we hope that we've been able to affect and help you in any way that we wanted to, in any way we can.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. I'll get the recording up. And Erik, maybe when I put the recording up, if you just want to, in the comment section or whatever, post some of the links or the things that you referenced, just so it's in one place for people to find it. But you guys are awesome. And sorry that my face wasn't on here, but I very much have been here the whole time. And it's great to see the duplication of Rachel's leadership. And I'm just super proud of her too. I'm like over there just like, oh, Rach. Like Rachel was so good, you know, and then it's just fun to hear the verbiage that's coming out of your mouth. And I think like it came from Jandy's mouth and went to my mouth and went to Rachel's mouth, and we're passing this on. And I am a proud, slightly injured mama bear over there, just really excited about this team and the vision we have and all the people that are being helped. So thank you guys for being authentic and compassionate and really just exemplifying your servant leadership. I talked to a girl today and she was asking me things because she's being recruited elsewhere about what made our team differently. And the first thing that came to my mind is we really care about people. And I said, on the product side, on the business side, about your life, like we know people's whys, we know their struggles, you know, we know their success. And you guys just did such a great job of how to be a great coach that we continue to have an amazing culture that is genuine, authentic, compassionate, loving. And we're so grateful for all that you guys do. So thank you so much. Thank you all for hopping on your Tuesday night and being part of the training call. And we'll get the recording up and see y'all next week. Bye, guys. Good night.
Bye. Thank you all.